Everyone knows about world records. The countless hours and dedication it takes to get one is crazy. But what would happen if I only gave myself 100 games to get a world record on the hardest parkour map? What struggles would come from some of the hardest skips to do under pressure? Well, I'm gonna give myself that challenge, and if I don't complete it, I will never grind this map again. So let's move on to the first games. The first few games were normal, just getting used to the map and the skips, but then out of nowhere, my parkour skills went insane and I got my new PB on my 5th game. My PB was now a 46,900, which is 250 milliseconds off the world record. It looked like I could really do this challenge, though as I would learn, it gets way harder after this. After my PB, my next 10 games were just me practicing and learning the strategies to actually get this challenge done. The first strategy that would really start to bother me going into the 15th to 20th games was the stone slab skip. This skip was one of the worst run killers and had some of the most precise gameplay for a skip that anyone has ever seen. At the start, I was flying by this skip, but it was finally starting to hit me on how hard this really was. This skip is where you perfectly time a jump, so you jump off the first slab and hit the side of the next row. This allows for about 50 milliseconds of time save because you spam spacebar afterwards for momentum from the slab. Time that the world record holder did not save in their run. So, if I can combine this with a good start, I will be able to save over 200 milliseconds on the first half of the run. So the next few games, I focused on just that skip. But yet, game after game, I kept failing it. This skip was going to be crucial to letting me get the world record, so if I couldn't do this, there's no way I would get it. The next few games, I kept nailing the skip, so it finally seemed like practice was paying off. The games 20 to 25 were all games that I got 47s on and had some of the best gameplay I have ever done. This now gave me a confidence boost for what was to come, as I hadn't gotten a PB in 20 games now. I was a quarter of the way through this challenge now, and I wasn't so sure about getting this world record. I was only improving my parkour skills just barely and still getting 47s every good game. I should be getting 46s. Games 25 to 35 were all just normal practicing, as I wanted to get a really good stone slab part. It was still slowing every single one of my runs down and just being a pain. Though, as I kept filling the slab part, my starts were getting better and better, and I was even 200 milliseconds ahead of the world record on run 26, which was my goal. At this point, I was really starting to hate this slab. I hadn't gotten a PB in 30 games, and at this rate, I would never hit the world record. I would have to stop grinding this world record, and I would have failed this challenge. But I had to keep persevering, and as the slab part started to get worse and worse through games 35 to 40, I finally got a surge of hope. In the 40th run, I got a new PB, a 46,850. This PB may have only been by 50 milliseconds, but it was a very big confidence booster, as I was 100 milliseconds ahead of the world record after the first checkpoint. But now, it wasn't just the slab part that was the issue. By the 50th game, I was feeling that this world record would be way harder than I first thought. But as I kept getting better at the slab, I felt that the run of my dreams was just waiting to happen. The next 10 games were also really bad, with the top runs being a 52-second run. And this is where we've entered the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages lasted games 50 to 85, and in this entire 35 game period, I didn't get a single run under 50 seconds. Every game just felt worse and worse as I slowly pushed through the slab. Game after game, the slab kept killing runs, and even if I got past that, the ending would always ruin it. All of these games were leading into this. All of the practice and perseverance through the first half, and now it wasn't even paying off. I was getting worse. When I finally realized I was getting nowhere, I logged off, thinking the challenge was over. And it kinda was. I didn't play for the next 3 games, and I kept thinking that I wouldn't make it. But as I was watching my old world records, it reminded me of why I started this in the first place. To actually get this world record. To show that I could persevere through the hardships. So, the next day I got on, and I was ready for the final 15. These games had to be amazing if I wanted this record, so I studied the world record as closely as possible, and decided I would just take the end part tighter and not do the slab, as it was literally all of the runs that I was losing. But the slab was still very bad, and now we had to do a momentum slab by spamming your spacebar at the right time to get a full speed boost. And with this in mind, the final stretch began. This was a time that I fully focused on getting a good time. No more runs over 50 seconds. I was going to finally get this world record. Then, the 87th game was a new PB of 46.817. Getting way closer to the world record, but then disaster. The next 5 games were all over 1 minute times because I was trying way too hard to get the corners tight. I had 8 games left, and it was feeling that I would never hit it. In the 93rd game, I got a 48, but at this point, that just felt like failure. The 94th game was all practice, so I got a 104, and then there was 6 games left, and I didn't think I would do it. After almost 100 games, I wasn't even near my goal, and everything seemed lost. But I could still do this. In the 96th game, I did well, but died at the end. And the 97th, I died at the slab. But in the 98th game, I got a 46.956. It was like the game was taunting me. I was so close, and I just needed it all together into the final 2 runs. I started the 99th game, and died at the start. I had 1 game, just one, to put it all together into the one big run. Not to just feel good about myself, but to actually complete this challenge that I started. So, as I started the last run, I was ready for anything. No! No! Dude! I'm not even kidding, this was the last game. Dude! I had just hit that, and that was it. My runs are over. At the end, just barely missing the mark by screwing up 1 slab. That slab represented so many games, all into one sick joke. So, as I finish this video, I can say that through many twists and turns, I almost got there, but I barely missed it. This video really did end on a sad note. But I did make a video explaining the world records that I actually have. So, if you want to see me get some world records, click on this video. Thanks for watching.